And we are in special session tonight where we'll be reading a number of ordinances as we approach the end of the year. And then our final session will be next Monday night at 7 o'clock. Our first item of business is to establish a quorum, and all council members are here. And except that's right, Arian Smedley. And our clerk is not here, and we have joining us tonight in Law Director's position place, we have Miss Jessica Markin, so thank you for being here. Our next item of business will be to appoint an acting clerk.
I move that we appoint Kent Butler as acting clerk.
Second.
Okay. Sorry. Motion and second because he did such a good job on Monday night. Repeat. All those in favor of this motion to approve the appointment of Kent Butler as acting clerks, in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay. Thank you, Councilmember Butler.
Yes, you're welcome.
We now have ordinances for third reading. 13817 is an ordinance authorizing a one-year extension of the current franchise agreement with the Ohio Power Company for use of the city right-of-way pursuant to Ordinance 5912 and extended by Ordinances 13512, 9413, 14313, 12614, 11315, and 12416, and declaring an emergency. This is introduced by Councilmember Fall.
Thank you. I move that we adopt 13817.
Second.
This is the same thing we do every year to enable AEP to be able to use their poles and wires that are in our right-of-way. Make sure that they take care of the right-of-way trees when they come in to prune and stuff and hold them accountable.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion and second for approval of Ordinance 13817. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The motion carries and the ordinance is approved. Ordinance 13917 is an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute on behalf of the City of Athens a solar power purchase agreement, SPPA estoppel certificate, and consent to SPPA assignment and declaring an emergency. This is introduced by Councilmember Fall.
Thank you. I move that we adopt 13917.
Second.
Thank you. We had a presentation on this a couple committee meetings ago. It's pretty straightforward. It's the power purchase agreement that one company holds for the solar array that's by the community center, and it's going to be entered into agreement to sell it to another power. So pretty straightforward.
So we have a motion and second for approval of 13917, and any other comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The motion carries and the ordinance has been approved. Ordinance 14317 is an ordinance authorizing the Service Safety Director to enter into contract with the Employee Benefit Service Center to serve as the city's third-party health insurance administrator and declaring an emergency, introduced by Councilmember Reisner.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that we adopt 14317. We've discussed this, and it's on your drive to read, but it's one of the administrative things we have to do and for our take care of our insurance for our employees. I have nothing more to add to it unless the administration or the auditor have anything to say.
Okay.
Okay.
We have a motion and second for approval of 14317. Any other comments or questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The motion carries and the ordinance is approved. Ordinance 14417 is an ordinance authorizing a stop-loss medical insurance contract and declaring an emergency. This is introduced by Councilmember Reisner.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that we adopt 14417.
Second.
The only thing I want to state here is who the contract is with. That's Cirrus America that will cover our stop-loss insurance. And we all know what it looks like, so I will, unless anybody has anything else to add to it, okay?
Okay, thank you. So we have the motion and second for approval of 14417. Any other comments or questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The motion carries and the ordinance is approved. We now have ordinances for second reading. Ordinance 14577 is an ordinance authorizing the city auditor to deposit 50% of the transient guest tax revenue collected from January 1, 2018 through December 31st, 2020 into the tourism fund and declaring an emergency, introduced by Councilmember Reisner. Ordinance 14617 is an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement to provide financial support for the operation of the Athens County Convention and Visitors Bureau and declaring an emergency, introduced by the Finance and Personnel Committee. Ordinance 14717 is an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract extension to provide financial support for the operation of the Athens County Economic Development Council and declaring an emergency, introduced by the Finance and Personnel Committee. Ordinance 15017 is an ordinance to make appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Athens, Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2018, introduced by the Finance and Personnel Committee. Ordinance 15117 is an ordinance authorizing 2018 staffing levels and non-union compensation, repealing all ordinances inconsistent therewith and declaring an emergency, introduced by the Finance and Personnel Committee.
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion that we amend 15117. On our drive, you can see that Section 2 has been rather extensively amended. Either the auditor care to speak to this, or should I just read on?
Well, just that the auditor's office and my office work closely together to go through, and a lot of this has been things. It was oversights on both of our offices with things that just need to be cleaned up. There's some editorial things. As an example, in one of the areas, it speaks to ORC Title 19 when in fact, that's the correct terminology versus chapter. So there's a lot of areas where it was just fixing mistakes that were in there, cleaning up the language as we move forward.
I just want to say, I'm really on both sides here. We provided, however, we did provide kind of an extensive list, which you guys all saw, of changes. And as the mayor said, some were just wording, additional clarification, things like that. Not everything got put into what was presented to council, which, we didn't get that final version until the last minute. So since Monday till yesterday, we went through the list and found the things, and Service Safety Director, the mayor, sat down with me, and we talked about questions I still had, and they've made, I presume, the changes that we've asked for, as he said, changing wording, adding some wording, and things like that. And so that's mainly it. We did everything we could. I still had some questions about things we'd asked for. Some things they didn't want to change or weren't able to do at this time, and that's okay. I just wanted answers to some of that stuff, so I think we're good now.
Okay. And to the best of my knowledge, yes, that the administration and the Finance Committee Chair and the Law Director and the President, we worked through. So thank you very much for that summary and providing us the working document for those changes. Okay, so we have a motion and second to amend Ordinance 15117. Any other comments or questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay? Okay. So this ordinance has been amended and read for the first time. So next, on Monday, then, we will be reading for the second time and suspending and then approving. So it's in place before the end of the year. Ordinance 15217 is an ordinance adopting a fringe benefits package for non-union personnel within the City of Athens and repealing all ordinances inconsistent therewith and declaring an emergency. This is introduced by the Finance and Personnel Committee.
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion that we amend 15217.
Second.
The reason for to make the amendments is some changes, some cleanup, but essentially in the definition section of Exhibit A that's attached to the ordinance, elected officials is finally defined. And in Section 20, where it says promotions, lateral transfers, and demotions of new hires, and that has been added, current employees. So these are.
I just want to say, we had these backwards when the mayor and I were addressing these. This is the one where we added, like you said, changes to the wording in the fringe benefit package. This one has to do with the non-union personnel, where we list all the employees and their titles. And the ordinance page needed to be adjusted for a couple things, but mainly employees who are over the max, who are not getting the 2% increase. They're getting a bonus amount, which was decided, I think, a while ago by the mayor and service safety director. And so President of Council and the law director and my deputy auditor spent a lot of time in getting that wording correct, so that when it came time to apply it, because last year the title page just said everybody gets 2%, and the ordinance takes precedence over whatever we might have discussed once it's passed. It's the law. So I think we have it clear now. So those are just flip-flopped, but another one with some changes.
Okay. Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Okay, we have a motion and second for approval of 152-17, or excuse me, a motion to amend. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All right, the ordinance has been amended and read for the first time, and likewise we'll have a second reading and suspend then next Monday. Ordinance 153-17 is an ordinance amending Ordinance 77-17, authorizing Arts West renovations project number 314 and declaring an emergency. And this is introduced by Councilmember Butler.
Thank you, President Isley. Quickly, I wanted to just determine if that needed to be suspended this evening or not, or can it wait till Monday? I thought I remembered some discussion.
This does need to be suspended.
Okay, thank you. And on the grounds of?
That we need to get this out to bid.
Okay. Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to suspend ordinance 153-17.
Second.
Thank you. On the grounds that the mayor referenced with pending deadlines.
Okay. We have a motion and second for suspending the rules on Ordinance 153-17. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. And the rules have been suspended, Councilmember Butler.
Thank you, President Isley. I'd like to make a motion to adopt Ordinance 153-17.
Second.
Thank you. We discussed this last week, and it's been discussed in committee as well. Simply, this is an attempt and effort to address the improvements that are necessary at Arts West, many of which pertain to ADA accessibility and updates, new bathrooms downstairs, or updates to the bathrooms, widening doorways, making amenities available to people with disabilities, including addressing outside entranceways. I believe new flooring, I think, is part of, am I correct in remembering that?
That's correct.
So I think that covers it. Thank you.
All right. So we now have a motion to adopt 153-17. Any other comments or questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The motion is approved and the ordinance is adopted.
Thank you.
Ordinance 154-17 is an ordinance declaring certain police department firearms obsolete equipment and forfeited and abandoned bicycles no longer needed for a municipal purpose. And this is introduced by Councilmember Butler. And that's the list of our readings for ordinances tonight. And if we could have a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for adjourning the meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay?
Nay.
All right,
Be it noted, 5-1.
5-1. And we stand adjourned at 7:16, and then our next meeting will be Monday night, the 11th of December at 7 p.m. Thank you very much.